Okay, let's talk about the absolute inevitability and the reality that the bombings of the buildings in the United States, the federal building bombing, the Pentagon bombing, and the Twin Tower bombing, they're all printed on U.S. currency notes. The federal building bombing is printed on the old 20 that's been around since I was a child, so as far back as the 60s and 70s. And that bill shows the bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City printed as an image on a U.S. currency note. You simply have to make a pentagram out of the bill, and then you turn the pentagram upside down, and it reveals the image of the bombing. On the front side of the bill, you can see easily that is the federal building blowing up. You can see the rounded corners on the building, and you can see the long rectangular windows going from corner to corner on the building. Okay, that's the side of the building. When you turn the building over, you can see that the face of the building has been blown off, and even the floors that were jutting out when the face was blown off the federal building, it was one of those images you'll never forget. You could see the floors jutting out and the face of the building blown off. What's really beyond the human brain is that there are 3 layers of ink, and when you look at the 3 layers of ink, just like on the front where it shows the building blowing up, you can see those 3 layers of ink, and it shows the expansion of the explosion and the rubble and the smoke. But then let's look at the new $20 bill that I believe was made in 1996. But the point is, the bombing at the Twin Towers and the Pentagon happened in 2001 on 9/11. When you look at the front side of the bill, you make a pentagram, you turn it upside down, then you can see there is the Twin Tower bombing, and it is the same MO. You can see 3 layers of ink, and it shows the building blowing up, the explosion, and the smoke and the rubble expanding. When you turn that same bill over on the back side of the bill, there is the Pentagon bombing. There's no odds now that can cover that base mathematically. There's no coincidental, reality that could cover that as actually being something that manifested without it being done with intent. So now we know, and there's zero doubt, that the bombings are printed on the U.S. currency note. Okay, but the part that is even more disturbing is new currency notes have come out. And on the new $100 bill, there shows the destruction of New York City by a nuclear event. And again, there are 3 layers of ink, and it shows the buildings literally disintegrating by a nuclear blast and water coming between the buildings. And it shows the destruction of the buildings and water coming in between them, and a nuclear wind totally devouring the building. Okay, the other thing is, when you take the new $10 bill and you do the same folding pattern, there is a tidal wave covering a 7-story building. Okay, well, if that's not beyond the human brain enough, in 2007, there was a prophetic utterance.
So thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, the hand of the oppressor has been lifted against you. And out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. Water as high as the walls of Jerusalem shall cover the city by the sea, and great shall be the destruction of that city.
The words out of his mouth were, quote, out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. Water as high as the walls of Jerusalem will cover the city by the sea, and great shall be the destruction of that city. Okay, that is simply part of the prophetic utterance that was given in 2007, describing an event that was a nuclear blast and a tidal wave as a result of a nuclear blast. And subsequently, the U.S. currency notes, the new $10 bill, reflects those exact words. So the $10 bill has a tidal wave covering a 7-story building, water as high as the walls of Jerusalem. That is a tidal wave. Most shall cover the city by the sea. And then the other part, out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. those exact words manifested on the $100 bill. And again, it shows the buildings being devoured by a nuclear blast. Okay. It is an inevitability that the $10 bill event and the $100 bill event are going to happen. It is just a matter of time when the spiritual being that is responsible for putting those images on those U.S. currency notes, when it's time to fulfill that spiritual being's agenda, that is when those events will happen. Same as the other events. When it was time to fulfill an agenda, that's when those events happened as well. The inevitability is at the door. So these are facts. They're not some, origami or some, ridiculous assertion. These are facts. The bombings are printed on your money. So knowing that, what should you do? If you know those bombings are printed on your money, what should be your reaction to that? And how should you conduct the rest of your life knowing that the bombings were printed on your money and those bombings happened and future bombings are printed on your new currency notes and someone actually had a prophetic utterance, and after that prophetic utterance, those exact words manifested on those bills? So I'll leave that to you. You'll have to decide what that means to you and what to do about it.